Hi, and welcome to another video. This week I'm experimenting with a combination of materials that I've not really tried before, acrylic paint and soft pastels. So if you've ever wondered how these two materials can work together, then join me as I create a small mixed media painting. The soft pastels that I have are Jackson's handmade pastels, which are the larger ones, and then a selection by Inscribe, which are the smaller blocks. I'll leave a link to them both in the description below. I didn't buy a set of the Jackson's pastels, I just picked out a few of the colours that I liked and bought them individually, and you can see me swatching them in a previous video, which I'll link here. I've also got a limited palette of acrylic paints, including phthalo blue, Payne's grey, burnt sienna, yellow ochre and titanium white. I'm starting with quite a lot of pastel on the surface here, and this is on a gessoed piece of card. So this will be my first layer. I'm hoping that these bright pastel colours are going to show through under the layers of acrylic paint. And I haven't really planned the colour palette, but I'm going for a seascape scene and want a peachy colour in the sky. I usually use soft pastels as the finishing touches to a painting, for pops of pure saturated colour, but only like a line or mark here and there. Now I want to experiment in using the pastels throughout my painting process, layering them as I go with the acrylic paint. So now that the pastel layer is down, I'm going over the top with acrylic paint. I've not smudged the pastels too much at this stage, so I can see that the dust is starting to combine with the paint a little and tinting it in places. I'm using quite a watery mix of paint at this stage, and then I'll be building up thicker layers of paint later. I'm also blending the pastels into the paint by using dry brushing techniques and also just a piece of kitchen towel. By spraying the page with some water and then lifting the paint with the towel helps to reveal the pastel layers below. I'm really loving these textures that have been created by the pastels sitting into the brush marks. So I'll finish adding a few more layers of paint and then go back in with the pastels. Now I'm going to try going into some of this wet paint with the pastels and because the paint is still wet, the pastel is merging with the paint. It's not as dusty and loose on the surface, and I'm using my finger to blend the pastel in a bit too, creating lovely soft edges in this sky area. Where the pastel is going over the drier areas of paint, I really like how it's revealing the texture of the brush strokes. The pastel sits in the ridges and texture created by the paint. I'm also really happy with this bold strike of turquoise blue along the horizon line created with this soft pastel. I'm now going back over the pastel with more acrylic paint in this layering process. And again, the soft pastel is tinting this new layer of paint. The pastel is combining with the paint even more now because it's already sat on top of a layer of paint and isn't being held in the texture and tooth of the paper as much. You could fix the pastel with a spray fixative in between layers if you don't really want it to combine with the paint. I'm building up thicker layers of paint now, and I'm layering over most of the pastel, then leaving some areas exposed and scratching through with the palette knife to reveal the pastel layer again. This is something that I love to do in my process, layering and then uncovering. I feel that it builds a real interest into the painting. I'm quite happy with the piece now and need to stop fiddling with it, but I add some final marks in with my palette knife. I really like how the soft pastel combines with the acrylic paint and how it can be blended into the paint to create subtle shifts in colour with soft edges. I definitely want to incorporate more soft pastels into the layering process of my paintings. I'd love to know what your favourite mixed media combos are. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.